Hello, good day from Boston. My name is Sergei Ikovenko. I teach at MIT and Tufts University, and also I work for Credo here in Poland. And today I would like to share with you some thoughts about innovation during disruptive times. Because it is not very clear. Many people have an opinion that during crisis, it's better to sit quietly, be timid, and it's a higher freeze. It is budget cut. That is why no significant innovation is appropriate here. However, according to the opinions of many, that is not the best strategy to follow. If we look at the Chinese language, the word crisis in Chinese is depicted with two Chinese signs. The first one means danger, the second one means machine, and together they are usually interpreted as crisis. Of course, the Chinese language is more nebulous, there are different interpretations, but in general, crisis. And opportunity, meaning for opportunity, is also expressed through two Chinese characters. One of them means machine, already known to us, and the second means chance to meet. Together, they imply opportunity. So it's interesting to see that there is an overlap. There is something in common there, of between crisis and opportunity. Albert Einstein also confirmed that, saying that in the midst of every crisis lies great opportunity. It answers the question that probably we should innovate. We need to grab this opportunity if it exists. However, there are questions: how to innovate, what tools are the most appropriate, what strategies are the most appropriate during crisis times, during disruption. And that's what I would like to discuss today. Crises, it is not something unknown, unusual, because societies come across crises from now and then. So that's why scientists and researchers had plenty of time to kind of research and come up with a list of recommendations, how to do innovation during this type of time during disruption. Um, if we look at these recommendations, you can split all of them into three tiers. The top tier, the most general recommendation, that's where leaders of organizations actually operate, CEOs and such. Now, if you read them, they make sense, but to me, and I'm more on the engineering side, they sound more inspirational than really engineering type of advice. Be kind. Humans go first. Solve problems at the heart. Be a positive leader. Be creative and negotiate. Unite the people of your organization around the common purpose. So those are good things, and probably innovation management have more granular kind of interpretations of each of these directions. But people who work in the field, who really execute those innovative engineering solutions, they need more specificity in the pieces of advice. That's why middle level of those recommendations, it's for team leaders, it is for middle level management, and they are much more specific because those people are much closer to the field. Remove the constraints, let people think without any limits, look at the product or technology from a different perspective, maintain rationality when you make decisions, consider partnership, cooperation, or merger. Keep it simple, do not over engineer. We don't have much money. That's difficult times. It's not times of plenty. Utilize resources, secondary resources, for the same reason. Innovate frugally. We can actually brainstorm about those. However, for engineers that are accustomed to working with specific engineering tools, following specific protocols, still we need to have more granular recommendation and tools for them, and those exist. These very specific and granular tools that help engineers to exercise, to do this innovative design. Actually, they are parts of a full-fledged methodology that is about innovative design, innovative technology of design, I would call it if you choose. It has a number of different tools that organized in seamless design phases. So another name for this methodology is systematic innovation because unlike usual ad hoc and haphazard steps that we can find in innovation processes, we have very systematic approach. There are tools of different types there. You know, there are tools for problem solving, there are tools for selecting problems, for resolving, there are tools that make the solutions more practical, there are tools that connect business objectives and engineering project that would make these business objectives happen. The name of the methodology changes because it is not very new, but it's changing all the time because it acquires more and more different tools to make the process more seamless. The more modern names for the methodology is design for patentability because innovative technology of design that results with innovative, more efficient solutions, but on top of that, as icing on the cake, almost 100% probability that you can patent, you know, these ideas, so you will get you will protect the money that you spent on your R&D. You get intellectual property that gives you competitive advantage, almost exclusivity on the market because it's property, and so on. There are other names, pragmatic innovation, systematic innovation. They have just different focus and different flavors. But in general, it does matter what the name is. What matters what is inside. These different types of tools, toolkits that we have, actually, they came from very different places and very different countries. The problem-solving tool that it came from the former Soviet Union. A big project was done there when millions of patents from the World Patent Collection had been analyzed, and those inventive moves, inventive approaches had been extracted, you know, as the result of this analysis. So if you have a problem to solve, you model it in a specific way, and after that, you match the model of your problem with a database of standard problem models that derive from that analysis of the World Patent Collection, and each of these models is attached to the most recommended model of the inventive solution. So by having a model of your problem on hand, you can get recommendation what is the model of the best inventive solution for your case there is. And model, it is like a skeleton. It is much easier to grow flesh on the skeleton, that it leads us to a conclusion that actually it is possible to learn how to invent. It is not just a gift from God, but you can learn how to become an inventor. So that is a fantastic methodology. Its name is TRIZ, Theory for Inventive Problem Solving in English. A Russian abbreviation is TRIZ. I think a Polish abbreviation is also TRIZ. So then there are tools that analyze what problem is the best to address, because I don't want to address a problem that would require getting Nobel Prize to solve it, especially during crisis time. I also don't want to address a problem that is a consequence of a problem that is in depth somewhere in the system. I would rather resolve the problem that is in the root than the problem that is a consequence. So these tools came from General Electric from the United States. Practicality tools. Why should they invent everything from scratch? I would rather use technologies that had been already developed, you know, in different industries. That's what is usually called open innovation. But how to find the technology I need, because different industries use different jargon, different terminology. It is not that easy to find. So this function-oriented search, one of the tools experts from that group, gives me excellent vehicle for finding technology that I might use in my process or device. And the methodology, piece of methodology that connects business objectives and the engineering project that I needed for that is called main parameters of value. And I will start with that one because actually that's what we need to do first. We need to verbalize our business objectives that immediately will lead us to naming what engineering projects we need to have. So it is called MPV analysis. What is MPV? MPV stands for main parameter of value. Everyone knows about voice of the customer. There are techniques how to identify this voice of the customer and so on. The problem is that customers ask for very many things, but when it comes to paying, they're not ready to pay for everything. They want those things, but they want them for free. But I don't like this idea because I need to be compensated for my innovative efforts, if I improve products. Otherwise, I will create something wonderful and go bankrupt because no one will pay for that. So that part of voice of the customer that influences purchasing decision, for which customers are ready to pay those attributes, features, properties, that's what is called main parameters of value. The term was invented by Professor Michael Tracy, a professor of MIT Sloan, a prolific writer in the area of growth and innovation. We worked together, so I know all the details about this MPV origin. A problem with MPV is that some MPVs are known. Customers are very explicit telling us about them, but some MPVs are hidden, latent. Customers never requested anything like that, not because they're hiding it from us. They don't know that they need. They realize that they need these things only when they see them embedded in a specific product. Apple never got any requests for many features of the iPhone. Never. Apple was smart identifying those hidden MPVs and embedding them into iPhones. That's why when we buy our first iPhone, we look at it and say, oh my God, it's a dream. I have been dreaming about it all my life. But 5 minutes ago, before I saw the iPhone, I could not imagine that these things could exist. So these hidden MPVs really is a gold mine for companies, because if we identify them, embed them into our future products, our products will sell like iPhones. They will sell like hotcakes. And this MPV discovery has a tool that systematically helps us to identify those hidden MPVs, or at least MPV candidates that we can verify with our customers. What happens during crisis time? Crisis usually brings new MPVs, a bunch of new MPVs. It is not even not necessary to discover. They become obvious. Take COVID-19, for example. Um, uh, Touching can get us contaminated. That's why I need processes, I need devices with no touch. Surfaces can be contaminated. I want them to be disinfected. There are no people who would do that, so it means there should be self-disinfecting things. Then it is necessary to deliver medicine. It is necessary to measure temperature and other parameters of people who are contaminated. Humans should not be involved into that. They can get contaminated themselves, so it should be done automatically. So all these new MPVs, well, people were aware of some of them, but they were not ready to pay money for that. But now a bunch of new products flooded to the market trying to satisfy those newly transpired MPVs. Look at these products. They came to the market within the last 4 weeks. Drones. We know drones can deliver pizza, but also they can deliver medicine. They can take measurement of temperature and other parameters remotely. The drones fly through loudspeakers. They ask people to approach the windows of their apartments, and they measure temperature and other parameters, identifying who of the residents potentially are contaminated. Um, the door handles. We know that they have bacteria on their surfaces and virus. Okay, a new product, it has already hit the market. Those handles, they are transparent with a source of UV radiation inside. So when the handle is not in use, the UV radiation disinfects the handle. When you push on the handle, start using, then UV stops, not to harm you. You released it, it is disinfecting again. This extension of your hand when you shop in the supermarket. God forbid you touch the cart. So with these extensions, you move the cart. You even hold the bags with groceries you bought. So basically, you touch everything with these cogs, with these extensions, but there is no touching the skin. These things are on the market already. And of course, a host of robots, that deliver medicine to patients in the hospital, take measurements, disinfect rooms and corridors circulating there, those with UV radiation, and so on. All these are new products that just came to the market. Now, function analysis and trimming. That's an interesting tool originated at General Electric. If I want to improve a product, for example, my company makes refrigerators, what component should I improve? What component should I improve to improve those MPVs? It is not that clear. Should I improve all the components uniformly, use the same innovation approaches, or the innovation strategies should be different? Not clear. Function analysis answers these questions wonderfully. How? It can calculate a universal criterion for every component of my refrigerator. That criterion is called value. The value, it's a ratio of functionality, importance of the component for the functioning of the whole assembly over cost. Cost I can get from accounting. Functionality important. There is a very straightforward, clear methodology, not subjective, primarily objective calculation of this functionality importance. So I split my refrigerator into components and calculate functionality importance and get information about the cost of every component, and I put this data on that chart. Every point on the chart is representing a component. Just looking at that, I can conclude how well the refrigerator is designed. How? Well, I will draw a line. I will try to draw a line in such a way that the points are residing around this line more or less uniformly, close to this line. If I manage to do that, it means that the refrigerator is designed well, because the more important a component is, the more expensive it is. That's fair. Employees that contribute to the success of the company, they get higher salary. That's normal. But if the points representing components are all over the place, what can I say? Sloppy design, not good. So what will I do? I will split the chart into 4 quadrants, and lo and behold, I have innovation strategies, different strategies for different groups of components. There is the target domain. Components are cheap and very important. There is this lower left-hand corner, the segment, quadrant. Functionality is not that high. I need to boost up functionality of those components. They're not expensive, but not important. And there are tools that the methodology offers for boosting up that functionality. Components in the upper right-hand quadrants, they are doing a good job, but they're expensive. For these, I would use cost reduction. And of course, components that are expensive and not important, those like employees who have high salaries and do not work well, we fire them, and we do the same thing with these components. There is an approach called trimming. We need to kick them out. So look, I have not started solving anything, but I already have. Using this analysis, I have specific innovation strategies for different parts of my refrigerator, of my engineering system. Now, trimming. Trimming is interesting. Of course, I can throw out components, but they're bad, but they're here for a reason. They still perform some useful functions, and I need those functions. That is why trimming means a slightly different thing, not just kicking out those bad components, but prior to that, identifying what useful function these components perform and redistributing those useful functions among remaining parts. Like in this picture. Of course, it's a joke. The car doesn't have brakes, but the function of the brakes to stop the car is performed. That nice lady is stopping the car with her feet. So that's the idea of trimming. Um, a very short example as the result of one of my multiple workshops on entrepreneurship and startups for startups in China, because many universities have those colleges for of entrepreneurship and startups. They teach many things there, how to prepare business plan, accounting, but there is a gap. They do not explain how to choose the product around which the enterprise should be formed or startup should be formed, the product or technology that would be needed by the market, the specifics about this product, what needs to be improved to have competitive advantage, and so on. That's where this methodology can be very, very useful. So that was one of the project of a team. Um, uh, Disposable toothbrush, that's what they give in hotels in Asia, practically in every country. Disposable toothbrush and one-time use toothpaste tube. If you take the cap of the tube, you can see the tube is actually sealed. There is a plastic membrane that seals the tube very reliably. The paste doesn't come out. Why do we need the cap then? Because you see on the cap there is that needle, that prick that punctures that membrane. So the team did the analysis and discovered that actually that's the only function that the cap performs, just to puncture the membrane. So they trimmed the cap and they delegated the function to the remaining parts, specifically to the toothbrush. Look at this toothbrush. You see, middle side part of the toothbrush has this indentation, and that needle is sitting in that indentation. So you can puncture the membrane with that needle. The cap is not needed. You can say, a cap, small piece of plastic, how expensive it can be. It's not expensive, but if you think about how many of these brushes or these sets are distributed in all the hotels and all the rooms of these hotels in the whole China, you will probably appreciate that engineering solution. The first year this product came to the market, it generated 25 millions of revenue for that startup. So this trimming can be used even on very simple systems, not only to spaceships. Of course, if you want, and people do, apply this approach to much more sophisticated products, but also these tools from this methodology can be used on very simple, almost primitive products. To finish with toothbrushes, other scenarios of trimming where we trim the handle and the function was delegated to the toothpaste tube, to the finger, to even to our teeth. You see, you put the bristles on lower teeth and kind of chew, and that cleans the upper teeth, and then vice versa. Function-oriented search, that's practicality. Because why should we invent everything? We should use the technology that has been already invented, but it's very difficult to find the technologies that we need for performing specific functions, for our systems, because different area of engineering has its own terminology, has its own jargon. That is why it is not that easy to find. Look, microelectronics, they have technologies for wafer etching. In archaeology, technologies for fossil restoration. In dentistry, technologies for cleaning teeth. And in jewelry, they face diamonds. Very different technologies. But if you go through the algorithm of function-oriented search, generalizing functions, object of the function, there is step-by-step procedure. You will discover that, wow, actually all these different technologies do the same. They remove particles. And maybe we can find some useful concepts in dentistry that would use for facing diamonds, or something in archaeology to use in microelectronics. Um, uh, s- uh, well, the idea is not new. It's always called open innovation. But how to do it in a smart way, not just simple matchmaking, but with more sophistication, open innovation lacks that. Function-oriented search substitutes inventive problems with adaptation problems, because adaptation is needed. We're bringing a technology from a totally different field, but adaptation problems are usually easier to resolve, they are less risky, and they are cheaper. Time to market is shorter. In addition to function-oriented search, there is inverse function-oriented search. It's just the other side of the street. When we have a technology, but we need to find where to use it. We need to find a new market for our technology or machines that we have. Actually, during crisis time, it happens all the time. When logistics is broken, when supply chains are broken, I have a factory with a park of machines, and what should I do with these machines? They usually do these operations. Who needs that? So basically, that's inverse function-oriented search. When you have technologies, you have capabilities to perform functions, but you need to find where these things are needed. Those who are a little bit older, like me, you remember the old technology for developing films and photographs, printing photographs. That was before digital photography, and one of major things that was needed was a chemical, collodion, that was used for developing photosensitive materials, films, and um, photo paper. So that was industry, because big part of industry, because every photograph printed on Earth used collodion. So there were hundreds, thousands of factories. They manufactured, millions of tons of this collodion, and then bang, digital photography came. So the whole industry is not needed. A disaster. So it was necessary to find new application for collodion, and function-oriented search is the best tool for that. Very quickly, actually, there is also a procedure. We list properties of the material. Collodion, for example, is flammable. It is sticky. If you print photographs until they dry, they are very sticky. That's collodion. And also it is very strong chemical. It's antiseptic. You convert these properties into functions. Sticky, it means it can hold something. Antiseptic, it means it kills bacteria. And after that, I think where these functions are needed, ideally together. Where do I need to kill bacteria and to hold something in place? What about bandages for treating wounds? And that's how collodion got the second life. You can buy it in every drugstore, liquid or aerosol. You put it on top of wound. It creates very, very thin film, sticky film that sticks to the skin. And at the same time, it's antiseptic. It kills all the bacteria in the wound. So that's another gold nugget in the methodology, that inverse function-oriented search that finds new market for your technology or a product. So these are just several glimpses of different tools that belong to different groups, but in general, you can see the whole methodology. It's a seamless process, starting from problem identification, different type of analysis, problem solving, and even after we generated idea, there are some things to do. Maybe we infringe on the competitive patent or something else. So that's what this design for patentability is. Um, Now, to wrap it up, there are many different types of innovation. There is disruptive innovation, sustaining innovation, blue ocean, red ocean, big I innovation, little I innovation, product innovation, process innovation, marketing, sales innovation, lots. But there is one more type of innovation. It is usually not named. It is called emergency innovation. It is not my term. I heard about it at Wharton School. Um, So what is that? Emergency innovation. That's innovation for crisis. It's that aha idea that saves your back exactly when things start falling apart. Maybe it's not the best solution, but it can be rapidly executed. So that's what the innovation that we need for crisis times. And this type of innovation requires courage because there is some risk, but the risk should be justified. We should be confident. And the confidence, from where do we take it? Because stupid confidence is bad. We just go somewhere recklessly and we, as I said, break our neck. No, the confidence we obtain from using powerful tools, from skills, how to use those tools, and courage, the skills and the power of tools, it can come from the methodology I'm presenting. And again, these things, being frugal, being effective, being fast, that's what they say. It's Sparta. Sparta is famous for its austerity, for its efficiency, for its power. So for its very laconic, as they say, very not very verbose, economizing on everything. All right. So, and in the end, how they use this DFP, of course, academia took it because it is just an extension of any engineering discipline. Many universities in the United States use it. These are just few. They are in Boston, many. That's why I'm just involved there. I know about them. Tongji University, one of many universities that use the methodology in China. Tongji is a pretty reputable school, and it cooperates with WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization, a specialized agency of the United Nations. WIPO is an agency, not a university. They cannot grant degrees, so they give money to universities, good universities, and the universities organize schools, colleges, departments that teach engineers and give them master degrees in international patent law. And design for patentability is a part of many of those programs. By the way, in Poland, Jagiellonian University joined last year, I think, or 2 years, last year, the list of those WIPO-funded programs. DFP has not made its way to Jagiellonian University, but hopefully it will. In the industry uses it very broadly. General Electric, Intel, Samsung, Siemens, ABB, Procter and Gamble. These are just several pictures. Honeywell, Continental. I put them here because I'm there. I like it. But the list of companies, a partial list. Basically, majority of Fortune 500 company use the methodology this or another way. And to complete everything, this design for patentability, that innovative design methodology, it's just a part of new product development, product improvement. It is when we have a product that we want to improve, we go to the market to identify voice of the customer, and it gives us a list of MPVs that customers named. After that, we go to DFP, like voice of the product, and try to find the list of those hidden, latent MPVs. We combine them in one list, and then for double checking, we go back to customers to find out, will they really pay for improvement of these parameters? They look, evaluate, think, and reply, yes, we will buy it. After that, it is necessary to embed these MPVs into the products, and we go back to design for patentability and embed those MPV, and in the long run we have winning products because they contain everything that the customers requested. Well, that's about all I wanted to present. I'm almost on time. And if you have any questions, there will be a time for me to answer. I was informed, but if you have a question that is, you got popped up later after, so you can write me an email using one of these three. I will be very happy. Credo, Credo R&D. It's the new addition to Credo family, Credo companies. and that the company that is using this designed for patentability in their consulting project. So this methodology is present in Poland. Thank you very much and for your attention, and I hope I will be able to answer your questions very soon.